technical difficulties there. I'm just going to go live briefly. Just watching some of the prospects games that are going on today, and particularly today watching the Minnesota Wild prospects who played last night versus the Chicago Blackhawks. You might want to check this out. A lot of these games are on YouTube. This one you can check under the Minnesota Wild channel. So suggest that you do that. If you're joining this morning and you're looking for hockey to watch, there is quite a bit today. Hey, Lamario, how are you? Thanks for joining. If you get a chance, hit like on the video. That would be awesome. If you haven't subscribed, I'm not sure which channel you're on, if you're on Hockey Nation Live or if you're on Pucks and Dreams, but either way, you can subscribe to one or both. We go daily live, as you probably know. So this game is really interesting. It's Minnesota Wild versus Chicago Blackhawks prospects last night. I haven't completely watched it, but you can check it out. And some of the players to watch. Oh, we got another goal there. Okay, interesting. So the players to watch, Chicago's interesting. They've got Lukas Reichel and Colton Dach, who is Kirby Dach's younger brother. He actually had a pretty good year last year. Good morning, Joseph. Thanks for joining. I'm not going to go live for very long, but I just wanted to highlight some of the prospect games that are going on today and this weekend. Last night, we saw this game, Minnesota versus Chicago Blackhawks prospects. On Minnesota, they got some good players. So there's three guys that I suggest you take a look at and watch. One is Marco Rossi. And Marco Rossi lost a lot of time last year. He was, I think, 9th overall draft pick 2 years ago in a pretty deep draft. He looks great. He missed a lot of time last year due to COVID. He actually had COVID, and he had an inflamed heart issue. So he didn't really play last year. But, man, he looks legit. And then he's playing on a line with Mathew Boldy, who's another prospect in Minnesota. And both these guys, I don't know, I think they might both be NHL ready, and they got great chemistry. So they're a lot of fun to watch so far. So Marco Rossi's wearing number 23 for Minnesota. And then I think Boldy's wearing number 12. The other player to watch is defenseman Carson Lambos, who was their first-round draft pick. I think they got a steal in Carson where they got him. So he's a real good player to watch. And then I was mentioning on Chicago, probably the two guy, Lukas Reichel, who was a first-round pick, I think in the same draft as Rossi. Man, he looks really good. He's so good. I think he's number, let's take a look what number he is. What number is Lukas Reichel's 27, I think. So check out number 27. I believe that's his number. Yeah, Lukas Reichel. He is an interesting player. Like Leon Draisaitl, he's a Czech background, I believe. Holtz didn't look good for New Jersey. Interesting. I'll have to look that up. So let's take a look at that too. So is it like kind of New York, New Jersey? So like the two New York teams in New Jersey, is Philadelphia in that? I'm curious who they're playing. That's interesting that he didn't look that good. Lukas Reichel looks really good. I think Chicago, when they picked him, I thought, ooh, he's going to be a surprise of this draft. And they already have a lot of good young talent. So I think, man, I would not be surprised to see him in the lineup for Chicago this year. He's a really talented offensive player. They have a couple other players that are worth checking out. Colton Dach is very interesting. That's Kirby Dach's younger brother. He's a big guy like Kirby, 6'4". He actually had a pretty good shortened season last year in the WHL. I think he needs a little bit of time. He's not as advanced as Kirby is, but he might be a decent prospect for the NHL. So you might see two Dachs in the NHL with Chicago. Alec Regula, number 75. He's a 6'4" defenseman. Played for, I believe, the London Knights, and then last year in Rockford in the AHL. He came over to Chicago from Detroit, and I'm trying to think of which trade that was. But he came over. I have to look at what that trade was a part of. What was that trade? Alec Regula. But I know he was a Detroit draft pick. He's been a good prospect still for Detroit, but there was a reason they traded him. What was it? Brendan Perlini. Can we get that trade back? That's another Kenny Holland special, man. I don't get that. Like, this is a prime example of how you screw up a team, okay? Alec Regula, 6'4", 208 pounds, played the London Knights. His last year with London, this is a defenseman, okay? 27 goals in 56 games and 60 points. And you trade him for Brendan Perlini. who is known for being lazy and was like going to be an unrestricted free agent. Brendan Perlini got 1 goal in 39 games for Detroit Red Wings. And then last year he played in the Swiss League. I heard he signed somewhere. Oh no, I think he's on a PTO somewhere. But this guy washed out of the NHL. He gave up a prospect like Alec Regula. I don't get that. That's why Steve Yzerman is finally the GM in Detroit. We won't see moves like this. It's just wacky. I don't get it. That's painful because he's a real good prospect there. He would have been a great Detroit Red Wings prospect. Michael Tepley's worth watching. He did not do as well offensively. He didn't get any goals in 18 games in Rockford last year as I thought he would have. When they drafted him, I thought, hey, this could be a real good winger. But yeah, he might need some development there. He's a 2001 birth year, so he still has time. It's not like it's tragic. But those are guys to check out. There was another defenseman. I'm thinking what the other defenseman was. And it might have been on the Minnesota roster. And what I've done is I've got a link here that I'll share actually to a Google Doc. And it has a lot of the schedules on it. So I'll include that in this. Buffalo versus New Jersey tomorrow. New Jersey versus Boston today. Buffalo versus Boston. Okay, cool. Does Montreal play their first prospect game today? I'm not sure who they're playing. Let's see. Montreal Canadiens prospect. I mean, I saw the roster, but I didn't see, like, are they playing any games? Like, who are they playing? So usually what they do is they're in a little tournament, and I haven't seen if Montreal's in one. Like, Toronto was in the Traverse City tournament that we'll touch on, but Montreal's not in that. So Toronto, St. Louis, Detroit, Columbus. What was the other team I just watched? Jeez, I forget the other one. I'm sorry, I'm a little tired. Go Habs, go H2O water. Yeah, I just have no idea. Hey, Joseph Ferrero. We have both Joseph Lanham and Joseph Ferrero this morning, so that's awesome. Is Montreal playing Ottawa? Okay, see, I've not seen a schedule. Let's look at Ottawa versus Montreal prospects. And these games are kind of like, I don't know. If somebody has a link for Montreal versus Ottawa, please share it because I have not seen any information on them being in a rookie scrimmage or tournament. So these are not promoted very well. It would be great. I guess what we need to do next time, and maybe I'll do this, is create one page and one doc. Once we get our website up a little bit, that'd be a great place to put it. But maybe we create one Google Doc and we just put a list of link to all of these rosters and where all the games are. All right, so just to close this out, this is a game that's worth watching, which is Chicago versus Minnesota, played last night. So you can find that on the Minnesota Wild YouTube channel. In Traverse City today, we also have games. So let's take a look at those. We'll get to see, I think, a second look at Detroit Red Wings prospects. I think that's the only game today in the the Traverse City, Michigan tournament. Let's see where that is. So let's see. And then we also have the Western one we know. So we'll take a look at that as well. Okay, so the schedule today, my God, these are all over the place. Yeah, so Detroit faces off at 7 p.m. tonight. I think that's Eastern versus the St. Louis Blues. So these are the prospect teams. In the first prospect game, Detroit looked pretty good, but then they kind of fell apart at the end, which was, hey, that's typical. I think Montreal versus Ottawa. I don't see anything either. I cannot find the Montreal versus Ottawa thing. So if anybody has it, post it in the chat. I'm going to add this link. And what we'll do is we'll just keep putting links on one Google Doc. And I'll make it so anybody can edit it. Okay, and then you guys can add to it if you see anything. Try not to wreck what's there. Let's put this in the chat. So there's that. And then I'll actually go on to Facebook and I'll add it to our Facebook one. So it's something that you're going to want to have to click because you're not going to be able to copy it. So I'm going to go into the Facebook page for Hockey Nation Live, and I'll put it on the main page. I think I'm really taxing my internet at the moment, which is weird because I've got like 1 gigabit. So I just put a post up and I'll pin it. I think I already put this doc up. But what I'll do is I'll put a link to the Minnesota ones and any of the other tournament stuff that you find. Just put a link to where the rosters are and the games. And that way maybe it's easy to find. All right, so I've posted that up on the Hockey Nation Live Facebook page if you're on there, and I'm going to pin it to the top of the page. Cool. There we go. Oh, there I am too. All right, so let's take a look at what else we got going on. So we've got the Western Showcase as well. So that's in Arizona. I was actually originally going to go out for that, but just ended up traveling a lot this past week, as you know, and I had to calm down on the travel a little bit. We had training camp, and then I had to go to the house in Austin and a few other things. All right, so today, let's take a look. So today is Saturday. We see there's no games. Oh, man. So there's games tomorrow and Monday, which is interesting. So tomorrow, you'll see Vegas at San Jose, Colorado rookies or prospects versus Anaheim, and then Los Angeles versus Arizona. So you can find that on the Google Doc. So I guess today they must be doing practices. Let's see what else we got going on. And then the other one I know was like the Florida one. Let's see what we got going on with Florida. So there's the roster. Saturday, Carolina versus Panthers at 10 a.m. So let's see, where is that game? That game should be already over. It's weird because they're supposed to be streamed. But I don't, on their home pages, and you go to their home page, I don't see any streaming games. I don't know what they're talking about. It's annoying. So Saturday, Carolina versus Panthers were 10 a.m. Eastern, I assume. Tampa versus Predators at 1 p.m. So that should be going on now. So, like, if it's going to be streamed on your page, Tampa Bay Lightning, like, put it on the damn page. Like, if you go to the page and you say, oh, all Lightning games we streamed on TampaBayLightning.com, I don't see it. I mean, it shouldn't be that hard to figure out, right? Here, let's show you this. So, like, you know, they claim that all the games are being streamed on here. I don't see anything streamed on here. They need to do a better job here. Like, they have these dumb articles. Like, who cares? We just want to see the game streamed. Where is it? You claim it's streamed. Stream it. Put it right there. Let's check out their YouTube channel. Ugh. Really? And then even their YouTube channels are like showing all this content that I don't care about. Show me the most current content. Like, why are you not streaming everybody on your YouTube channel? Does not make any sense. And then you can see here's the Western one. There's no games today. So if you check out this link in that Google Doc, you'll find the schedule there at least. So at least that's up. But the same thing, like, you're supposed to be able to go here. Actually, this is the other thing. So you go to the live streams, opens up in a new page, of course. You go to the live streams, at least there's that link, and you're supposed to be able to see this stream, and I could not get it to stream. So there's no games today in here. You'll see games Sunday and Monday. Those are just the Arizona games. But every time I try to watch this,
Ice Dance Scottsdale is the official practice facility of the Arizona Coyotes.
Nobody cares about your commercial over and over. I've watched this commercial over and over, and the game never plays. So you got to do how much. We're interested in watching prospects. I mean, this is on here. Oh, you're pasting the chat. It's not working. Okay. Go if you're on the Facebook page, or then I would suggest go to our Facebook page, Hockey Nation Live on Facebook, and then you'll see there's a pinned post to a Google Doc, which is the same one I posted up here, but it's really like it's going to be impossible for you to get it. And then just add a link in that Google Doc. That's the only thing I can think of. How's that Austin traffic? It's not horrible, but I can see where it would be. I don't drive a lot in Austin. Stream it on YouTube for Montreal and Ottawa. That would be great. Good morning, Greg John. Do you think Marco Rossi will make the Wild? Yeah. I think he will. If you watch him in this game, you're like, this guy's NHL ready. Like, how much better does he need to get? He doesn't. He just needs to start acclimatizing to the organization. And when you look at the like, sometimes you got talented players and they don't have chemistry. He immediately has chemistry with Mathew Boldy. And Mathew Boldy's a big guy, and I think he might make the team. I think it's great insurance against whatever is going on with Kaprizov. I think they're looking at Rossi going, we're not. I mean, listen, you want Kaprizov. He's an elite world-class player. But Rossi, man, he looks faster than he did before. He's got great edges, and he's gritty. And there was a couple plays where he went in, and he's a great forechecker. And that was kind of the MO on him, right? That he was a good two-way player. And like you watch some of his shifts, he's wearing number 23 for Minnesota, and he's all over the guy with the puck. Like he has no problem getting in people's faces. And I think he's going to make the team. I can't see how he's not in Minnesota. He'll probably end up being their number 2 centerman this year. That would absolutely not surprise me. Yeah, I think he's going to be there. I don't see how he's not. When I watch him in this, I'm like, oh, he's way ahead of everybody. He looks. I don't see what you would gain by him not being in the NHL. That's how good he is. I mean, Montreal doesn't usually stream. That's kind of stupid. Yeah, that's dumb, man. Like, oh, what are you saving it for? It's prospects. These guys, most of these guys will never play in the NHL, and you're looking for those 1 or 2 gems. The other one that was interesting, and let me see if I can find it. The Edmonton Oilers prospects. There's 2 guys there that were really interesting on their roster. Samur Rukov, he might be NHL ready. He's a defenseman. This guy could really help them. He looks good. Let's see what happens there. I'm going to put this over top for a second. This defenseman looks really good. So if you got him, I think they feel pretty comfortable with Evan Bouchard and Philip Broberg. Broberg looks good. They already have Langerson who's shown he can play in the NHL. And then you add this guy, he looked real good. So Edmonton might be in pretty good shape there. And then if you look at, let me see if I can find their roster. I had this saved too. Let's take a look. And they got a pretty good link about rookie camp content. Let's see if we can find the roster on there. Here's the rookie camp roster. Edmonton's got some players, man. I'm not going to lie. So you've got Samorukov. I'll have to learn how to pronounce his name. He looks really good. Broberg, I bet you he's in the NHL this year. Dylan Holloway, unfortunately, has had wrist surgery, so he's going to be out like 3 months. So that's really unfortunate. But I think when he's back, he'll be on the team. He's just that good. Bourgault was their first pick. They passed on taking the goalie that they actually needed and took this guy, but he looks good. I don't know if he's going to make the team this year, but he's a real talented player. I like him. I think Soderlund came over. For some reason, I think he came over in a Columbus move. So there's a move with Columbus, and he came over. So he's worth watching. Raphael Lavoie. He's a big guy. Came out of the queue, and he can score a little bit. They just signed Tyler Tullio. He played in Slovakia last year. So I think that's a prospect to watch. He looks interesting. Kirill Maximov, another player that's really interesting to watch. He's a little bit older, but he's a big guy that can score. So they have some interesting players. I'm disappointed about this, but I think he'll be in the NHL when he comes back. He's just that good. And then Bourgault, it's going to be interesting. He might be not that far away. That might have ended up being a pretty good pick. They need one of these goalies to pan out. So they drafted Konovalov, but he's not very big. Rodriguez probably still their best goaltending prospect, nobody is on the level of Jesper Wallstead that they passed on. Oh my God, I'm not even showing you the damn roster because once again, these things open up in new windows. So check this out. I'll put this in as well in the Google Doc if you're going to go on the website. It'll be in the group of links, and I'll just show you what that looks like. So if you go onto Hockey Nation Live Facebook page, I'll put this doc up. And you'll see these links are to the different tournaments. This one is to the PDF of that roster, but let's actually. So I don't know if. Okay, so let's see what their games are. Oilers prospects take on the Calgary Flames twice in rookie camp. The first game is 5 p.m. Mountain Time today, so that's great. Okay, so you can see that game, and we'll take a look at Calgary's rookie camp. And then they have a game at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, so it's just the two of them. They're saying the games will be on Oilers.com. Let's see if that's true. So far, it's been a mixed bag of people are saying it's on their stream, but I can't see it. Hey, Enertap, thanks for joining. Nico Dawes looked good in goal last night, despite the loss. I think Nico Dawes is a very good goaltending prospect. He played very well for Canada. He's not as big as you would think. Like you would think he'd be, just look at him, you'd think he'd be a lot bigger. But I think he's only 6 foot, but he doesn't look small in the net. Dylan Holloway and Raphael Lavoie. Well, Dylan Holloway for sure. I am not convinced Raphael Lavoie will play. I think he still needs to work on his game. I think he's going to play in the AHL, and he's got to show he can play consistently and that his skating's up to level. I don't believe in Stewart. I don't know. Stewart beat us, and he played in the WHL, and he was great in the WHL, and I think in the finals he beat us. He was the reason that we lost in that final. He outplayed our goalie Carter Hart, I have to say, but he's not on Carter's level. And I would be shocked if he plays in the NHL, it'll be as a backup. And I'm not sure he's better than Koskinen. He's got some flaws in his game. Maybe he just needs time. He's a big goalie. So we'll see. I think he'll play in the AHL, and he might be a career AHL goalie or maybe a backup. But unless something changes, I don't think his save percentage and his touches are high enough. Like I just don't see that from him. But that's just me. All right, so let's not forget. So I'm going to put this in the chat as well. Let's see what else we got. So we've got that. Let's grab the Minnesota links and put them in the same document. All right, so at least you got one place you can find some of this content, and I'll show you what this looks like. Yeah, so if you go to our Facebook page, you can jump on the rosters and schedules. So any information I have, I'll put in here, and then you guys can find it. Matthias Norlinder is going to be a beast in the future. I think he's going to be a real good D. I'd be shocked to not see him in the NHL this year. At least he'll be there for the 9 games. I'd be surprised unless he really is terrible at regular training camp. Regular training camps begin mostly on like the 23rd, so in 5 days. So in the meantime, we get to see the prospects only camp, which is what we're kind of looking at right now. So let's see. Anyone on the final score from a Florida-Carolina prospect game? That's a great question. Let's look. Florida, Carolina prospects. They do such a bad job of this. That's June. It's so annoying. They got to do a better job of this. All right, let's look at Florida Panthers.com because they claim it's on there. I see nothing. It's really annoying. Like whoever manages this stuff, just killing me. Development camp notebook, like where's the games, guys? We want to see this stuff. Being so chintzy with it, it's ridiculous. Let's look at Carolina Hurricanes.com. I'm going to close some windows here. Like, it's one thing to you tell us you're going to stream the game. Stream it. Like, how hard is that to do what you actually say? Let's see. Oh, interesting. Carolina hired Mike Fuda as a senior consultant. So that's he's a real good talent evaluator, mainly from Ontario. He was an assistant GM with the LA Kings, and I think he was in line to be the GM of the Kings, and then Rob Blake got the job. So I don't know. I mean, I think that's a good pickup for Carolina. Okay, so where is the dang rookie camp stuff, guys? You do such a terrible job of this. So annoying. Look at this. Okay, so let's look Caniac Nation. Like, you have all this content. That's great. Where's the live stuff? 10 months ago, 3 months ago, 1 year ago? Like, give me a break. All this should be just streamed on YouTube. All right, so we're going to go to our handy dandy doc, and we're going to look and see what we can find. So where's the Panthers? There's the Panthers one, right? And of course, it opens in a totally new window, which is really useful. So there's the showcase. And then they're going to say again, these games are all streamed. Yeah, okay, so there's the schedule. I don't get it. Like, do what you are saying you're going to do. Like, why is this stuff a big secret? Wow, I don't know, guys. I hope if somebody finds it, put in the doc, at least we can watch in arrears. New York Islanders signing Chara for 1 year. Did they sign him for 1 year? Or are you thinking they should? I think you got me all excited. They didn't sign him, did they? Yeah, I don't see that signing. So I think you're asking if they did. I mean, it wouldn't be a bad thing. I think he can help. He can chew up a lot of minutes still. Wow. Okay. So I don't see that. That's interesting news. Breaking news. We need Coach Wrench's breaking news story. I think that's a good move. Where do you see that? Is it on Twitter? Because freaking Google sucks. Chara returning the Islanders. Look at that. Okay. Breaking news. I did not know this. Thanks for sharing, guys. That is amazing. I think that's a good move by the Islanders. The Islanders are going to be real tough to contend with. If they have a Chara in there, Chara wants to win. And they've had good success the last 2 years. They've got experience, and they've lost nobody. That's great news for them. Oh my. So, okay, let's talk about this for a second. Breaking news, right? Inner tap. Yeah, they signed him. That's amazing. So it's not posted anywhere yet, but we see the article. So that's great news. All right. So this is Softcore Beats. Thanks for commenting. Please, guys, like this video. If you haven't subscribed to Hockey Nation Live or to Pucks and Dreams, please do so on YouTube. You can follow us also on our Facebook page. Kirill Chuchev scored 2 goals in the first game, in the Detroit Prospects game. This guy's so talented. So it's interesting you said Datsuk. I could see that comparison. He's a winger though. He's not very big. He's like 150 pounds if he's lucky. Like, I think they have him listed as 146 pounds. I got to think he's a little bigger now. And Detroit, when they get a hold of him, they'll beef him up a little bit. But he's not big, and it didn't matter. He went to scoring areas. He's highly skilled with the puck. Great talent. I mean, I don't think he's signed yet. So you got to sign this guy. And I think they're sitting there like, let's sign this guy. The other player who I think is more like Datsuk might be Jonathan Bergeron. And in that game, the first Red Wings game, you saw Jonathan Bergeron pick some pockets. He went in there, picked the pocket of the defenseman, looked at Lucas Raymond, and then no look passed over to Joe Veleno, who roofed it. And then he got an assist on the Chase Pearson goal. I mean, Jonathan Bergeron seems to be a pass first player, but we know he can score goals too. And defensively, he's very good. Like, he looks like Pavel Datsyuk. I mean, that's a high bar, obviously, but man, I'm excited about both of those players. Like, this Tucci was a 7th round draft pick, guys, for Detroit. All right, so there's no details yet. Charlie fits New York Islanders mold of defense. Thanks, Hockey Froggy. Appreciate you joining. Chara definitely, I think, if you look at that New York Islanders roster and you throw in a Chara with his size and his leadership, I mean, this team has already proven they have the resiliency and the hockey style to go far in the playoffs. They've gone to the third round for each of the last 2 years. They've at least gone past, they're not like Toronto. They get past the first round. So they lost Jordan Eberle, which I am not a Jordan Eberle fan. Like, Jordan Eberle has talent and hands, and he elevated his game a little bit, but he's terrible in his own zone. It's like a black hole on his side of the ice when you're in the defensive zone. When he doesn't have the puck in a scoring area, he's like scary. Okay? He's like Galchenyuk. It's brutal. So him going to Seattle, I don't think is a big deal. So they signed Palmieri. They have Brock Nelson, Barzal, and Pajot down the middle. And Wallstrom looked really good last year. They pick up a veteran in Richard Panik. I don't know if they've signed Beauvillier yet. Have they signed Beauvillier yet? Yeah, they signed everybody, didn't they? So I think he pulled out the stops and he signed everybody. So I think they did sign Beauvillier. Jeez, what am I talking about? The Islanders look great, man. I don't know. You don't look at that lineup and go, that's an amazing lineup. And then you think of what they did in the playoffs last year without their captain, Anders Lee. I mean, then they pick up Zach Parise. Like, what? What are you talking about? So they got Parise and Chara now. So they haven't announced details on this because it's probably going to push them way over the cap. So they're going to have to do some tap dancing to get around this. It'll be curious if, like, Coach Frenchie says they do something with Komarov. I don't think so. I like Komarov, like, as a player. I don't like him at $3 million. However, he is, like, in your face. He can play center or wing. Like, he pisses guys off, and he can score a little bit. Cal Clutterbuck, similar player. Like, there's a lot to like about this team. They're nasty to play against. And they got a superstar in Mathew Barzal. Like, he would have such bigger numbers on other teams. So they're going to be fine. And then they still have in the mix Kiefer Bellows, who might be able to chip in a little bit. On D, like, Pelech's a beast. Pulak's very, very good. Mayfield's real good. Noah Dobson's awesome. And then they got some veteran guys here. And to add Char to that mix, I think is excellent. He can totally still chew up minutes. And then in net, like, who has better goaltending than the New York Islanders? Sorokin and Varlamov. Like, I don't know. They look real good. They drafted Adurati this year. That'd be interesting to see. Oh, and then they just signed Dmitry Timashov, which, man, that might be a really under-the-radar move. I liked Timashov when he came over to the Detroit Red Wings, and he finished his season from Toronto to Detroit. I really like Timashov. He's got speed. He's like maybe 5'10", but he's kind of stocky. He can really skate. He's got some skill, and he's gritty. Like, he could be a really good bottom six guy. I don't know if they look like the Cup winners. Like, it's tough going deep in the playoffs 2 years in a row and not getting to the final. But they've given themselves on paper every chance. And if you believe in Barry Trotz like I do, that he's probably the best prepared coach. Like, he prepares his team better than anyone, and they rise to every occasion, and he gets the most out of every player. That's Barry Trotz, like, perennial coach of the year. Like, no problem. I have no problem with that. If he's in the discussion, they look really good. If they're healthy, they're going to be really good. Oh, it's on the Canes official Twitter account. 3-1 Canes. I guess Twitter is the new de facto news source in the world, and I got to stop looking in other places. We probably need to build up our Hockey Nation Live presence on there because a lot of hockey stuff's on there. I just try to stay off Twitter because it's just, like, terrible. It's full of terrible people. Let's see. Hurricanes, Carolina. But where is the game? Like, where's the stream? it doesn't come up. I'm getting all these other things. There we go. NHL team, follow the topic because they're all good boys. One thing about the Carolina Hurricanes is their Twitter and their social media in general is pretty darn good. Oh, okay, we've got a link. See, I bet you this doesn't work. Like, why does this not work? I'm going to try it on a different browser. Maybe it's an issue with Chrome.
You at your best means
they want
having
to show me another advertisement. Brutal. Interesting. The Canes prospect roster looked pretty good too, right? Oh my God. Like, this is pathetic. Play. Just play. Like, I'm trying to watch their link of the game and it won't play. I'm gonna, like, what the frig? Like, what are you doing? It's so annoying. Do they still have cap space? The Islanders have no cap space. They're negative $5 million or something. But we're going to see more and more of this. Like, the way everybody looks at Tampa and they go, "Hey, they won it with 7-8 million over cap," and they just kept shuffling the numbers. So everyone's like, "Well, I got the cash." Like, having a cap makes money for some teams, not the New York Islanders because they got a bad arena situation. But that won't be forever. They have a new arena, and I think they're moving into it this year. So that should solve that. Toronto Maple Leafs, having a cap makes them $40 or $50 million a year. Montreal Canadiens makes them money having a cap, right? The cap is protecting the bottom half of the league. Like, Vegas makes money with a cap. So they don't care about spending a little bit more money. It's, complying with the cap that's the issue. So they're like, okay, let's just shuffle the money around. We're okay with spending 80, 90 million. And if Tampa's winning that way, then we're going to win that way. And I think that's what you're seeing. It's a copycat league. So if you look at them right now, without those two contracts, they're at 86 million. And the cap is going to be what, 81.5 or 82? So how do they do this? How are they going to swing this? I mean, I don't think there's any long-term injuries. They're going to have to do something with a Komarov. They just signed Cizikas, Panik's in there. I don't know how critical he is, but right now he looks like he's in a specific slot in the third line. So I don't know how they're going to pull this off. Okay, Aho out. That's 725, 750 Ledoux. So it's only 1.5. Like, am I missing something? How are they going to do this? Like, they're at 86 million without those two players. How does this work? Do they they're not going to sit around all year, and Zajak's not signed. I don't know if they're going to sign him or not. How can they? But, like, this is crazy. So I don't know. We're going to see some theatrics this year with players coming on and off the roster. Social media is a better source for the latest news than the news media itself, for sure. Nicola, thank you for joining them this morning. We've been looking at all the different prospect camps, and we just heard the news, the signing of TRIA by the New York Islanders. I don't know how they're going to fit him in this. It doesn't make sense. Stream is on the Canes NHL site, also the Panthers, but like, I have the link to the stream, guys, and it will not play. Like, so what? They won't replay it? Is that what it is? Like, so maybe it's just like it has to be live. It's like, oh, you have to find a little link somewhere. Oh, look, a little link. I found a secret little link somewhere to watch the game. Minimum, like league minimum? Is that what they signed him to, Intertap? They had to have. Because they've got to be able to move out like small pieces to make this work. I don't see how this works. Like, they don't have any big pieces left that'll come off for long-term injury. I don't know how this works. But this is the new thing in the NHL, right? Like, they see Tampa, but they had one big chunk, which was Kucherov. And it was a shortened season, so they weren't too worried about him just showing up in the playoffs. He's an elite player. If you're not an elite player, like, how do you make this work? You're rusty. I don't know. That's interesting. All right. Well, I've posted up the document. So if you are on Facebook, go to our Facebook page. I pinned that document. Take a look at the links in there. I've tried to put up links to different prospect games and camps. We know we're going to see the Western camp today. We'll have the Detroit game today. I think other camps are showing games tomorrow and Monday, including Edmonton and Calgary. Some camps are just 2 teams. The Traverse City tournament is 5 teams. I think it's 5 teams. The Western one is 6 teams. So you'll see like Colorado, LA, San Jose, Vegas is in there, and Arizona. So that's a pretty good one. So check that out. We know we've got the Florida Panthers, Carolina Hurricanes, Nashville Predators one. It sounds like there might be something going on with the New York Islanders, New York Rangers, New Jersey Devils. So I haven't even looked at that. So let's take a look at that. I mean, that would be a pretty good one too, right? There's the development camp roster. So that was September 8th. Oh my God. And like, just show what I'm looking at, man. I'm really interested in seeing Brandon Othman on this group. Zach Jones is pretty talented. Niels Lundqvist is a good player to watch. He should be on the NHL roster this year. Mathew Robertson, maybe worth watching. I don't see a lot else there, but I'm sure there's other players in this one. Okay, so that's New York Rangers. Let's put a link to this also in our little Google Doc. And then let's take a look if they talk about development camp as a go. All right, well, that's nice to know. Live stream today's rookie game versus Philadelphia. All right, we're getting somewhere, guys. So that's 20 minutes ago. And I'm going to put that link in there. I should come up with a better way to organize this, but for now I'm putting it on the Google Doc. So that's positive. So we've got a live stream. Check this out against the Philadelphia Flyers. I don't know what time this starts. Let's try to find a schedule. And then what about, there's New York Islanders, New Jersey Devils. And if somebody has the link to that Devils game, I'd like to see Holtz. So that would be interesting to see. Back to work. I guess they got a practice day for the Devils. Ooh, all right. So yeah, let's take a quick look at this. I want to take a look at this. So this is the New Jersey Devils one. I'd like to see the game if you've got links. Let's see what we see. So Boston versus New Jersey tomorrow. Is this today? 9 a.m.? Maybe, right? So the lines are, the prospects are on the ice for a full practice a day before the game tomorrow. So tomorrow's Sunday. Look at that line. Foot, Mercer, and Holtz. I mean, forget about it. That's an awesome line. Those are the guys to watch. Kevin Ball, watch Kevin Ball. Like, I want to figure out. I think Kevin Ball is going to be the NHL sooner or later. He's at least a top 6 in the NHL. He might be a top 4. He's like 6'7" or 8. I really liked him for Team Canada. I think he's going to be a good defenseman. And then Nico Dawes is net. That's pretty good too. But I don't see Dawes on there, so that's interesting. So video coming soon. It's a big mystery. But for sure, Nico Dawes, I think, is a good goaltending prospect. Oh, they're saying Nico Dawes is 6'4". Okay, that makes more sense to me. I thought he was big, but I saw something that said he was 6 foot. I'm like, what? There's no way. He looks like he's 6'1", 6'2" at least. Oh, yeah, he's listed as 6'4". All right, my mistake. That helps. He is a big goalie. That's what I was saying. He looks big in the net. I don't know why he was listed at 6'1" or 6 foot where I saw it. Let's see. Looks like you're right. I just checked the Blues NHL video site and there's no replay. So maybe that's the problem. Maybe it's only live stream and there's no replay. Boston versus Buffalo today at 3 p.m. So it's 12 my time. New Jersey and Sunday at 1. Oilers sign Yamamoto 1 year. Come on. How did they pull this off? So I guess he only gets 1 year, but I mean, I know he didn't have a great year last year, but he's still like 1.1 million is cheap. 1.1, what, like not even, like, that's so cheap. Well, I think Yamamoto is going to come in. I know Coach Frenchie may not think so, but I think he's a super talented player and he's really smart. He looked good in the playoffs when they moved him up in the top 6, and he's super talented. He was off this past year, but it was a tough year for a lot of players, and he kind of had a sophomore slump. I think that's going to prove to be a steal, and they're going to have a real problem if this guy lights it up, which I think he will. Chara come back to New York. I like it. I think it's a big, big move by Lou Lamoriello. Like, under the radar, Chara wants to win a cup. He's motivated. It's the team that drafted him. They've always been in chaos for the last 25 years. He's brought stability as a GM. The coach is the best coach in the NHL. They've had great success in the playoffs. They need to fill some holes with inexpensive bodies. They've done it with Zach Parise and Chara now. I mean, Chara can still chew up minutes. He can still be effective. Can't skate as well, but he's 44. He's inspiring. Like, people are scared of that guy for a reason. He's a monster. He's literally a giant. Like, people are scared of him. This guy's hands will encompass your face, so no one's messing around. Dawes looked huge in his interview. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because I was like, man, Nico was a big goalie, and I saw somewhere, maybe it was just my mistake, where I thought they listed him as 6 foot or 6'1". I'm like, he's not listed as very big, but he looks really big in the net. So 6'4" makes a lot more sense to me. I like him though. He played great for Team Canada, and I think he's a great goaltending prospect. Not that you need one, but New Jersey has 3 great prospects at 4. Well, 5 if you include Dawes, but Kevin Ball I really like. He came over in the trade with Arizona for Taylor Hall. I think he's a great prospect. Like, 6'7", 6'8", skates really well. He's like a kind of like a Tyler Myers, Logan Stanley type guy, but I don't know. I really like him. Dawson Mercer I really like. Holtz I really like. And then they have, what was the other guy we were talking about? Do I speak French? Mon français c'est très pauvre. Je comprends un petit peu. Coach Frenchie's the man that understands French. So Coach Frenchie, when he's on, is usually dealing with all the French questions. If you give me a French question, I got to think about it a little bit before I translate it in my brain. And if there's one particular word that's not in there, I got to really maybe go look it up. Ball looked good last night. He's ready for the NHL. That would not surprise me. I'm really a big Kevin Ball. This is one of those under the radar guys. If you throw him in the mix in New Jersey, these little pieces by New Jersey, I really like what's going on there. I don't know what's going to pop them through. I'm not sure if Lindy Ruff is the coach, but man, they look like they're pretty good. I can't stay. We're scooting to a movie. Thanks, William. Appreciate you joining this morning. We've just been looking at the different prospect camps and the different games that are going on this weekend. There's a lot of hockey, actually, if you can find it. It's just, I wish it was in one spot, and maybe we can make this little Google file of ours the one spot. So I posted up on the Facebook page again, a link to this Google Doc. If you're in there and you have a link, I think anybody can edit it. I think that's the settings. Let me double check. Oh, they can view. Let me fix it. Anybody can edit it now. So just if you go on there and you have a link, feel free to post it and put a little note next to what it is. And I'll try to clean it up so that we can have one place where we can go see some of these games. We know we've got, Carolina, Florida, Tampa, those games, Nashville. We've got New Jersey, New York. If anybody finds anything on Montreal, Ottawa, apparently they're playing, and I don't know if they're broadcasting. The Western tournament is going on, so you'll see Arizona LA Kings thumped Colorado last night, by the way, 4-0. LA Kings, I've been saying this, are stacked. Fajimo got a goal last night. Who else scored? Kaliev? I think Kaliev might have got the first goal. Like, they are stacked with young prospects. It's stupid. The forwards on the LA Kings they gave Colorado fits, and Colorado's not bad. Colorado's got Byram, and they've got Justin Barron, and it did not matter. They were, whew. Johnny, do you have a link to this game? Because I've been trying to find a link to it and I can't find it. So I've posted up on the Facebook page a Google Doc that anybody can add to. Just post a link to any of these videos and put a little note next to it of what it is. And then that way we have one place where we can go to. It's on YouTube. Is it on the Montreal Canadiens YouTube channel? Because everybody's YouTube channel sucks. Like, it's really annoying. Like, you go to the YouTube channel, it's this curated stuff, but I don't see active content. It's so annoying. Like, where's the actual... So there's the Montreal Canadiens channel. Is it on here? I mean, I see all this produced crap, which I don't want. Oh, and of course, this is opening up in a new window, so you can't see what I'm looking at. Need a producer. So I see all this produced content. That's nice. Where's the damn game? Yeah, so I don't know. Post it up. Ottawa YouTube for sure. Let's check Ottawa. Well, at least they got some new content, 19 hours, 2 days. Like, this is the problem. You see stuff on like 10 months, 8 months ago. And I'm like, I don't care about that. Show me the most current stuff, right? Last Thompson, I bet you he's closer to the NHL than not. Like, Ottawa still has some good, especially on D, like Last Thompson, Bernard Docker, Jared Bernard Docker, and Jake Sanderson. Do we know if Jake Sanderson's not signed? Is he going back to college? I hope not. Let's look at Ottawa Senators development camp roster. Let's see if anything comes up. 42 player training camp roster. Holy smokes. Development and rookie camps. All right. So I'm going to put this also in our Google Doc. Let's see. Lots of powder. Yeah, Bernard Docker, Last Thompson, Shin Pinto. They made debuts, but are they in this? So they have all these links. So let's see. Tickets, great. I don't want your tickets at the moment. Okay, there's the roster. And it opens in a new window. Thanks a lot. Daily camp updates on the team's website. Twitter's probably best, so let's open that. There's Facebook. Okay, and then here's the roster for Ottawa. So who are we interested in here? Pinto, of course, I think will be in the NHL this year. Last Thompson, Bernard Docker. Those are the big ones. And then Mag Sogard. So I keep thinking that this is probably the goalie of the future. They have a bunch of other goalies that are all pretty good size and pretty high picks, but this is the guy to me. This is the guy that's got to make the jump for them. That's their big hope, along with Philip Gustafson, who looks really good. Sokolov might be worth watching. I think he's like a big goal scorer, but has trouble skating a little bit. If that's the same guy I'm thinking of. So that's worth watching. All right. Well, I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you for joining me today. If you get a chance, hit like or subscribe to the channel. Is Ridley Gregg? Ridley Gregg's pretty good. I think Ridley Gregg, I'm not sure what he'll be, though. Like, to me, he might cap out as a third liner, but that might be fine. Maybe he's a second liner, but I think he'll be one of those guys where he's gonna go through a period where he's gonna have to steal somebody's job, and I'm not sure if he'll do it. But there's lots of third line opportunities, and if he can play a gritty two-way game with the skill, then he should be able to carve out a career. Like you can kind of see he's listed at 5'11", 175. It's interesting that he played in the WHL after being in Belleville. I guess that's because of all the COVID stuff, but we at least had a season. His dad played a little bit, right? He was drafted by what? Hartford Whalers / Carolina Hurricanes. Yep. So I don't mind him. I mean, watch him. He's definitely worth watching. He was a high draft pick. I put the link to the Buffalo, New Jersey game. Awesome. All right. So I see your link. So that's super helpful. Cool. We can watch this now. I'm going to go back and watch it for sure. Wow. The graphics are funny on it. Yeah, so he had some points, man. 15 goals in 35 games. He's a big guy. So, Sokolov might be a guy for Ottawa to keep an eye on. I think the biggest thing against him is the skating, but sometimes when you get a guy like this, he's big, he goes around the net, and he's got good hands. You don't care. So, I don't know. I think that's a good player to watch for Ottawa. All right, so I'm going to let you guys go. I have to go do stuff. It's my mother-in-law's birthday, so I got to barbecue some fish today. What are you guys up to? I'm going to be watching hockey while I do that. Hope you guys are too. I've posted up on the Facebook page. So if you go to Hockey Nation Live Facebook page, the pinned post is a Google Doc. In there, you will see a bunch of links to some of the various prospect camps and rosters. So this weekend, we see a lot of hockey around different teams' prospects against other teams' prospects. We know there's some good games in the East and the West. So if you see something up there, or if you don't see something up there and you have a link to either a live game or a link to a schedule for one of those camps that's not on there, please add it. Anybody can edit that Google Doc, and I'll try to clean it up. Or if you feel so inspired and want to clean it up or label anything, please do that so it's a little easier to read. I should have probably put it in a spreadsheet. That might have actually been smarter, but maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll create one spreadsheet and put all the stuff in it and link it in that Google Doc for you. I hope you guys have a great Saturday watching hockey and doing whatever else you have to do today. I'm going to be barbecuing very shortly, and have a wonderful day, Hockey Nation Live fans and Pucks and Dreams followers. And we will talk to you. Well, I don't know. I think Coach Frenchie might be going live tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern. Maybe it's 6 p.m. Pacific, but check the channel. There should be a live post up. Have a great day, everyone.